Hey everyone, welcome to episode 100 of Google Workspace Recap, your number one source for everything Workspace by the tabGeeks network. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson. Which side do you want? You're one of the sides here. We're here to help you keep up. Steve, pop the bubbly. We made it to number 100 weekly, and we never missed a show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, every week. I mean, we had a couple episodes a week in some cases, a few extras tossed in there. But yeah, this is the 100th one. I think we did 5 or 6 extra ones, so a little bit less than 2 years here.
Yep. Google Next last year, Google Next this year. Throw in an extra couple.
Yeah. Chrome event here, Chrome event there.
Yep.
And speaking of Chrome events, we're going to have a new Chrome event regarding the Chrome OS exam with some of the Googlers that helped release that exam coming up in a few weeks. So we'll have a live session with a few Googlers there. So stay tuned for some info on when that's going to be, and we'll try to get a decent amount of notice out to everyone. So it's not just getting thrown out there at the last minute. It's one thing I've been wanted to make sure that we do is let you know at least 2 weeks ahead of time when we're going to have some of those live events. So
At least,
that's what we're aiming for. Yeah.
Make sure to get it out to, I said at least, and make sure to get it out to all the listservs and the Google groups and all the above. So,
because we had some good luck, we had some good luck with turnout early on some of the Workspace admins events where we were able to get some emails out to a lot of people and, gather some interest. So we'll do that again.
Absolutely. And as mentioned last week, it is Halloween tonight, so my garage door is about 20 feet that way, so hopefully my fancy schmancy Shure microphone is only picking up my voice directly in front of it and not all of the noise that is my community takes Halloween really seriously, and they're really into it, and it's I'm talking 30-foot tall skeletons and covering the yards, and it's intense. They love it. So
I was watching that live feed, just constant flow of people walking in front of the house there, and cars, pretty busy street.
Yeah, and I'm on corner, so they come up that way, and then they turn and they go down the rest of this block, and they come back around, and it's cars. They come in from all over. It's like almost like a spectacle, kind of like Christmas lights on the East Coast, but we don't have as much of a showing for Christmas lights out here. They do, but it doesn't have the same effect when it's not covered in snow. So,
voila.
Oh well.
All right. Well, do you want
to
talk about anything else we're in the 100th episode, or anything else with tabGeek stuff?
No, just if you like what we're doing, go and check out everything else that we're doing. Of course, SaaS Showdown, our other show on everything SaaS. Let me know what you think of the shorts. I did not succeed totally last week in getting all of the shorts out, simply because I screwed myself over on the editing. I messed that up.
Well,
so
I think the main thing to talk about though is how the YouTube videos now are done, where you've essentially incorporated what you're doing in those shorts directly into the episode. So you have Jesse and I talking about the updates with some animation to the side of us on what that update is. So that is now embedded into the episode, and could be in one of those directions, whichever side you want to choose, depending on what kind of mood you're in that day. So
the goal is to get something from each of the updates if there is a screenshot available. Not all of them have. Some of them are just like, here's the thing, next, and there's just nothing there. So that'll just be us talking about it. But I wanted to make it easier for those that wanted to sit back on the couch and just watch, or somebody who wants to check the video while they're working on other things and be like, wait, what the hell did they just say? What are they talking about? And get a little bit more context, because much easier to understand some of these when you can actually see what the hell we're talking about. So there we are.
And and I was watching that today on the big screen. So it's very helpful to kind of see that side by side there with us. So, all right, well, let's jump into this week's episode and talk about what we've seen coming out this week. A few silent releases there in the end of week recap post. We have 6 updates that came out during the week, and then a few updates on some applications with the Drive for Desktop app seeing yet another update. And in addition to that, we have some additional updates with Chrome Enterprise version 107, and specifically we'll talk about some of the things that we've seen in the admin console changing there, and what those updates are. And then of course, and we have a decent number of items from in the news topics as well that we will cover. I think five items there. So pretty solid week of updates, and we'll get through those now. So first one we saw with the silent releases there, end of week recap, some new keyboard shortcuts for Keep. We also have some enhanced spell check in Google Docs, and then also for those that can't hear nearly as well, there's some improved hearing aid support for Google Meet on Android. And then jumping in, sorry, what was that? What did you say? I couldn't hear you quite well, Jesse.
Ha 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 ha! I said, love that. Talk more about that later. So cool.
Yep. All right. And then in terms of the updates that came out during the week, we have first one being you can use built-in mail merge tags like @firstname to personalize multi-send emails. This has been a highly talked about update because when the mail merge functionality features came out, it was pretty limited in what you could do. So this really enhances and improves that update. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Next, there's some stronger admin console protection with risk-based reauthentication challenges. I think this next update is going to be, if we look back on this year, the number of updates on emojis is just unbelievable. I think probably at least 10 to 15 updates just on emojis this year. It's crazy.
I think we need a Google Workspace Recap drinking game. You hear emoji, shot.
Yeah, right. I mean, they must be. What is it? What is the team that's like working on emojis? It must be a lot of people. Maybe, I don't know. All right. Anyways, custom emojis
for promotions.
Custom emojis coming to chat.
Yeah.
So pretty good update. That's actually a solid update, I would say, on emojis there. Probably the best one of the year so far.
You have a custom emoji in every community I've ever seen you in, and that's saying something because there's a lot of them. So you should love that one, my friend.
Yeah, I upload loads of custom emoji all the time. I have my own custom emoji of
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So
the Steve Acorn.
That's the one. That's the one. We have save time by adding in grading category information before exporting Google assignments in Google Classroom. So one there for the education folks. Next, we have the ability to create and manage AppSheet databases available now in a public preview. And then last, to round up the updates, there's the configure app access control for third-party applications in bulk. Very welcomed update there because some organizations have thousands of apps that they have to manage, and this is going to make it so much easier to do that in bulk, because before it was, I think maybe you could do like 50 at a time. So, I mean, it can get a bit tedious doing 20 or so pages of updates. So this will really help with that update, and security focus too. So always nice to see improvements on the security side of things. In terms of updates on the apps, like I said, the Drive for desktop application has an update. We are now at version 66. Some pretty, I would say, relatively minor updates here in terms of improve the layout for the account status menu and additional bug fixes and performance updates. But what is very important with this update is that support for macOS 10.13 has ended, and you need to upgrade if you want to continue to use Drive for Desktop on macOS. Not only that, but we also have some future-looking, deprecation here in terms of Drive for Desktop ending support for Windows 7 in January 2023. So as great and as wonderful as Windows 7 was, time has come to say goodbye, and you're going to need to upgrade to something newer than Windows 7 in order to use Drive for Desktop.
Right alongside Chrome.
Right. And you said alongside Chrome. Yeah, I did not. I think we Might have seen that in another update there. I did not have that in the notes, but yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
I think that was last week or the week before.
Got it. And in addition to the Windows 7 support being dropped in January, macOS versions below 10.15.7 are going to be dropped. So 10.13 quickly will be superseded by 10.15.7. So keep that in mind. Both targets for those dates is going to be January 2023. So just around the corner, a couple months away, as we are now nearly into November. So, yep.
Tomorrow, by the time this gets released, it'll be November.
Hours away. I mean, it's already Tuesday in New York here in about a few seconds.
Yep.
And then on the Chrome Enterprise front, so version 107 has come out, and a couple enhancements and updates that admins will see in the Workspace admin console in relation to in relation to Chrome within your Workspace admin console. And the first one being that the managed browser list export has been increased now to 150,000 records for the CSV export there, helping get you more data out of the admin console for those larger orgs that have a lot of managed browsers. And then also there is the admin console extension request card. And this is just a list of extension requests that were previously shown in the right side panel are now shown in a card in the app detail page there. Next, there's the text to action buttons instead of icons in the device and browser list. So that is, in the drop down there of Chrome devices, so you can show text to action instead of icons there. And then finally, a few new policies in the admin console. So 4 new policies showing up there. Those are constantly growing. I was at one point trying to keep track of all of the different settings in the admin console, and now it's definitely a little bit out of date. I'll have to go back and try to add those in there. But here we have 4 new policies coming into the admin console. For those managing the configuration of your Chrome browsers from there. First one is the block listed hex SSIDs. We have password dismiss, compromised alert enabled, web auth and factors, and device auto update P2P enabled, being your 4 new policies coming there. And that wraps up the updates there. Some things in the news we talked about, or we saw this week that we will talk about here. Workspace Individual increases drive storage to 1 terabyte. An article there just directly from Google. We have an article from 9 to 5 talking about new Google Meet cameras run Android instead of Google Chrome. One from Google here, bringing Google Meet to more meeting rooms. Meeting room sand shared spaces.
Oh, please.
I was just, yes. Oh, I was going to say and sand and shared spaces. I was reading that. I'm like, and sand, like, does that mean and like not shared spaces? But I clicked on the link and then got the typo there that you had in that headline.
Yep.
Workspace customer newsletters. We'll talk a little bit about a post that we saw in the Google Cloud community, actually that we missed kind of 4 weeks ago, talking about how you can stay on top of the updates that Google is releasing kind of on a monthly newsletter basis.
By listening to the show, of course.
Yeah. And then on the education side, again, so we had, in addition to the update, we have one here about expanding accessible learning with Google for Education. And then the one
and apologies, I found it. It came out on Monday, a week ago, so it should be in this week's episode. This just felt like 2 weeks since the last time we did an episode here. So it came out on Monday, and now it's there. So both Chrome and Driver Desktop dropping Windows 7 support next year.
Yeah, that's the last one. There you go.
Yep. There you go.
All right. So what do we talk about?
Notice the updates coming to that side over there. There we go. I figured it out.
we'll get it. We'll get it right here.
I looked it up.
Point somewhere.
Your right, my left. There we go. Because I'm reversed.
Right.
Not your right. The listener's right.
Just
Here they
watch them wherever they are. New keyboard shortcuts for Keep. So just some improved user experience here for those of you that are used to keyboard shortcuts. Those are some additional ones to essentially what they say is better aligned with the web experience. So we'll link to the full list of keyboard shortcuts that you can get access to there for Keep and others, and stay on top of that. Next, the enhancing spell check in Google Docs. This will be a bit of an improvement here. So words whose spelling is not recognized will now be underlined in red, even if there's no suggestion. So it can be helpful. I've also had a few words that have popped up or they've not been recognized as being wrong, even though I know it's spelled wrong, and I forget which words they are, but I've noticed that a few times recently. It's always the same word. I can't remember which one it is, but
sure, it's not just the British side of you. Is it color spelled wrong or something?
No, it's not. Nothing like that. It's not that, because those ones always show up depending on what language the document is in. It will typically those will always show up. Something else that I just always get wrong spelling wise. And I don't think that there's another word that's spelled like anyways. When you click on a word here, you'll see it labeled as an unknown word. And from there, you can choose to add the word to your personal dictionary or ignore it. And this will, of course, help highlight more potential spelling errors and help you out there. In this example, they refer to especially, exceptionally.
Especially?
Yeah, I don't know what they were attempting
Specularly?
here. Especially. Especially. Yeah, especially. There you go. That one someone got wrong. All right. Next silent release we have is that improved hearing aid support for Google Meet on Android, and just kind of expanding the hearing aid support on Android devices to recognize a wider variety of hearing aid devices. And Meet will automatically default to using hearing aid support when they're connected. You can also select hearing aids during a meeting from the audio settings menu, and if a hearing aid has built-in microphones, that microphone will also be used. And if it doesn't, the mobile microphone or tablet microphone will be used. So just recognizing and identifying those using hearing aids, just making a little bit more seamless experience for those. I know
Can I just say that
example,
I love that.
Uses
that,
go ahead. And I'm sure he's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let him know about this because I'm sure that will could help him out. But
does he have the microphone?
His hearing aids are Bluetooth already, and they connect automatically to his phone. So I'm not sure how that would work, because usually, like when I have headphones connected Bluetooth-wise, it defaults to that, right? So maybe there's a special flag in hearing aids that just shows up as hearing aid instead of headset. I guess I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I've never seen this. I've never seen this in the menu, so it must be. I mean, it makes sense that they could give over that information. Well, like my headphones give their name,
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I mean. Though, but the hearing aids typically connect through Bluetooth anyways, so they should kind of be showing up there, no matter what, as a device. Maybe they just are now saying hearing aid. They recognize it specifically hearing aid instead of saying Bluetooth headset, which could have been hearing aids also.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I love that. Not just this feature. I love that Bluetooth hearing aids that can be used as headphones and microphones for your tech is a thing. I only found out about this like 6 months ago, that this type of thing existed, and I was like, wait a minute, that's how you're using because as far as I knew, the person was just sitting in the room, and it sounded a little echoey, but I wasn't sure what was going on there. I was like, oh, have you tried headphones? And they said, oh, well, I'm using my hearing aids as headphones. I was like, wait a minute, you can do that? It's phenomenal. It's so cool.
It's pretty cool. Yep.
So anyway,
and I think another thing I've seen with some like earbud headphones, some of the manufacturers are putting the like hearing aid quality microphones, which are a little bit higher spec, apparently into them. Some manufacturers doing that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I never find as good quality as an external mic like this, but also I prefer the boom mic that comes off of the headphones. So
Right.
even with my AirPods up in my ears, I sound a bit more echoey. I'm curious, how those handle being not only further away but a little bit in the ear in terms of picking up sound.
I think those are no different though than like the Pixel Buds, for example, or anything.
Maybe the
like
same as the Pixel Buds. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I mean, the AirPods have those little downward facing ones, right, which are a little bit different. But yeah, I think there's a lot of in ear ones that are like that. But yeah, they are more because they're recessed. They're supposed to be, not noticeable at all. Whereas regular earbuds, you notice them pretty much all the time.
Right.
All right. Well, let's move on. One of the topics I know the least amount about, but talked the most about. All right. Looking at the next one, though, is using built-in mail merge tags like first name to personalize multi-send emails. So, with that multi-send announcement earlier this year, towards the end of June, July, or something like that. It was, end of July. Now you can announce, or Google has now announced the ability to personalize multi-send emails with mail merge tags like first name and last name. So that makes it a lot better. And in addition to that, I think there is, waiting for the animation here to show up. First name, last name. I couldn't see it quick enough. I'm going to have to pause it somehow if I could. Hello there. Full name and email. So you've got a few options. First name, last name, full name, and email are popping up there in that list, in that animation. So that will make things a little bit more personal for you when you're writing these messages that need to be merged. And from an end user perspective, you've got a few things there to do to configure multi-send mode and start to leverage those different fields. And just trying to read through here. I think most of the stuff here in the announcement is pretty standard in terms of what you need to do to use it. Just see if there's anything in that section there in the getting started section that I'm kind of glancing over that I should mention, let me know. But I think adding custom merge tags is pretty useful. So future releases of this feature will provide support for custom mail merge tags using spreadsheets, and then previewing mail merge emails. Before sending a multi-send email to recipients, you can send a preview to yourself if your draft has mail merge tags, and test email will show the corresponding values for the first recipient. So that's pretty useful there. I think very helpful in terms of that update.
This was only the most complained about part of that previous feature release.
Yeah.
Was not having
it was not a very full featured release, I guess you could say, right? It was lacking this very key critical component. But
one thing I will note in here is that it's pulling the first name and last name values are pulling from whatever you have saved in Google Contacts if it's available. And if you added people who aren't in your contacts, it will try to infer the first name and last name based on how the name is formatted. So pretty cool there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Useful. That's cool. Rollout for this one, we'll see this split between the rapid release and the scheduled release domains. Rapid ones, we'll start to see this starting the 24th of October on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility there. And then scheduled release domains, we'll see that starting the 7th of November on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility. It's going to be available to select customers, those on Workspace Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Starter, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, and Workspace individual customers. Not available to anyone else at all there. So next, there are some stronger admin console protections with risk-based reauthentication challenges. So there were some strengthened safeguards for sensitive actions taken in your Workspace and user accounts back in August. Specifically, the update protected users from bad actors taking over accounts via cookie theft. So beginning today being the 24th of October, Google is extending this protection to the admin console. So currently the admin console prompts users to re-authenticate every hour, and this is going to be extending the current protections with additional signals to detect potential cookie theft. And if risky session is detected, extra challenges will be issued, such as mobile notifications or the use of a security key. And security keys, if we haven't said it before, the kind of the best protection against an account that you can get. Highly recommend using that and only that on your account if you can. Going to have the most protection there is always going to make sure that you are connecting from that device that you are on and nothing else. And it's not, someone halfway across the world requesting access to your account and you accidentally pressing, yes on that prompt. It is always going to make sure that you are near that device through some sort of, to check that the key came from you and that device, and that there is a essentially like a handshake between the device and the server. All right, some details there around this. There's some additional info here of why it's important. I think we kind of know why in terms of a security perspective. There's a looking at the options here. Let me look at this image. Frequency. Users can avoid repeated two-step verifications on their trusted devices. Allow user to trust device. So I don't think you should enable that. Are they saying to avoid situations where a bad actor has a cookie that marks a device as trusted, admins can configure a device to be trusted based upon login? Interesting. Is that a little different? No, I'm just trying to see if this is different here, what they're referring to in the image. I don't think what they're showing in that image as being selected is... Yeah, here we go. So if an admin gets legitimately stuck trying to access the admin console, other admins can temporarily turn off login challenges, including additional login challenges. We strongly recommend only using this option if contact with the user is credibly established, such as via video call. And I don't even know why they're showing this image, though, as the frequency being selected here. You'd want that off, ideally.
Yeah, it's weird.
You never want to trust the device, because then that kind of, I don't know, because then, like I said, that cookie then thinks that device is trusted if you can grab a hold of that cookie. So it should be unselected. The image shows it being selected. If you're seeing this, unselect that to be more secure. It's a little bit more work for the end user, but substantially more secure by having that unselected. Yeah.
That's weird.
It is, because, I'm just trying to understand if they're saying, here's the setting that you should unselect, but here it is, we're showing it to you selected. It's not really... It's saying admins can configure a device to be trusted based upon login. You don't want that. It's the opposite of what you want. You want admins can configure a device to not be trusted upon login. You don't want that to be persistent. So, unselect that. Unselect that one. You don't want users to trust the device. That's all I'm saying. All right. Rollout for this one. Rapid release and scheduled release domains. We will see this on starting October 24th on an extended rollout, potentially longer than 15 days for visibility. And Google anticipates that rollout to be complete by the 14th of November. Sorry. Ooh, a little water there. The coffee actually kind of makes my mouth a little dry. Available to all Workspace customers, as well as the legacy G Suite Basic and Business ones. All right, next, our wonderful emoji update. So here,
Steve's favorite.
An update. One of my favorites. Yes, emojis. This announcement was made back at Next 2022 here. A new update here is going to allow you to add your own custom emojis. And everyone in the organization can view and use the custom emojis updated by their colleagues in chat messages and reactions. I think it's, someone says something about them being internal only, but that's how they work. I mean, once they're uploaded into your, chat environment, anyone that gains access, I think, to that space or group can leverage them, which makes sense. I think that's how it's implemented everywhere else. But before launching this to end users, admins can set an organizational guideline and designate emoji managers who can browse and delete custom emojis that do not adhere to company guidelines. So if there's certain emojis out there that, as they sometimes say, aren't kosher, you may want to give some people the ability to remove them and monitor and maintain them. So those admin controls will be rolling out before the end user functionality to create custom emojis is available. And in terms of that, you will head over to Apps and Google Workspace and Settings for Chat and Classic Hangouts, and head over to the emoji options. And then that's where you can start to configure those settings as an admin. As a user, should be pretty straightforward. Pull up that emoji menu, click on the little plus symbol, create, and then you'll have some options to upload emojis there. And the little note here is that from an end user perspective, when you create those, custom emojis you create can be viewed and used by everyone in your org. And the other part is that custom emojis are only available in conversations without guests or external participants. Oh, that was the part. So they're internal use only. So you can't actually leverage them when you invite external people, which I guess they kind of, okay, I see what that means. And I guess is custom extra spaces with external people. You can't use them there, which, all right, maybe that is a little bit annoying because you can export or invite external people, right? Into Slack, for example, and then use those emojis, can't you?
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it becomes part of that whole Slack environment that anyone is a part of, but it's not that bad. It's a good first step. It's a good first step.
It's a good start. It's only their most requested feature for chat,
Yeah.
I love that they've got the Doge dog dancing, and that they use the Nyan cat for their upload example, and they've got, of course, Rick Roll GIF in there doing the dance. Yep. Well done, Google.
I feel like if they can get good the data of all the names of the custom emojis and then look at some of the most popular ones and release those as part of the standard release.
There you go. That'd be cool.
To see those metrics and see what those
Google are. Google using big data. Very nice.
Just using their data. It's just it's just using a lot of data. It's really all it is.
Well, we better start using the custom emojis now before they come unhip like gifs.
Oh right, yeah. Oh no. I think both have started happening. Didn't we talk about the emojis?
Yeah.
Emojis that are not widely appreciated anymore. Whatever.
Too bad. They can't have
controls.
my gifs and they can't have my emojis.
Yeah. Kind of a split release for this because we have some admin controls that are coming out first. Those started on the 24th of October for rapid release, and scheduled release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. From the end user perspective and functionality there, rapid release domains will start to see those starting the 8th of November on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility, and then scheduled release domains will start to see those towards the end of November, the 30th on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility. And available to pretty much everyone, but not available to those users with personal Google accounts is the only caveat there. Next, we have an education update, and that is the ability to save time by adding in grading category information before exporting Google assignments in Google Classroom. And don't know too much about this one, but if you're in the education space and a teacher who needs to kind of export grades from Classroom to get over into their SIS, then you want to make sure that that data is transferred seamlessly. So this will help with that endeavor and, help get that great export working a little bit better there. The SIS import, I guess.
Imported.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Get it imported. So, there's not too much else here to say other than kind of where to get that done as an end user, heading over into your gradebook with grading categories and clicking the class and then select class settings and then set up your grading categories. Rollout for this one will start on the 26th of October for both rapid release and scheduled release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. This one is going to be available to a few different customers here. It is, I'm just looking for here, education-wise, it looks like all education customers get this. I think I don't see any educations in the not available section. So Education Fundamentals, Education Plus, Education Standard, and Teaching and Learning Upgrade customers. And then it's also, this is an interesting one here. It's available to Aspen and Skyward 2.0, SaaS customers only. SAS customers not available with Infinite Campus. So interesting terminology in the availability section there for that. Have not seen that one. But if that makes sense to you, it does not to me. So, all right. Next, 2 more to go in the updates. You can now create and manage AppSheet databases, and that is going to be available as a public preview. So as Google continues to enhance and streamline the app creation, they're going to introduce here a built-in structured database in preview. So, keep an eye out for this if you are working in AppSheets a lot. This one is going to start to show up for you pretty soon. Some notes here during the preview. Access to AppSheet database will be enabled by default for everyone. No impact to existing applications, and users can connect a database to both new and existing AppSheets. Also, databases will be limited to 10,000 rows per table, 20 tables per database, and 20 databases per user. Those limits may change when the feature becomes generally available, but that is what you're going to get out of the box. And rollout for this one, it just says that it's available now for all users. And if you are working on Enterprise Plus, as well as those with the AppSheet license, you will be able to take advantage of that new feature. And then finally, in the admin console, some improvements to manage app access control in bulk. Oh, I need a drink. It's very thirsty time. Downloading right now, you can download those. I'm trying to think. So those apps in CSV format, you can then start to identify which ones are trusted, blocked, or limited, and then you can now upload those back into the admin console to control which apps your users can use, and then based upon that trusted, blocked, or limited value, we'll define whether or not the app has access to certain Google services. So this update to managing and maintaining the apps means that you will just be able to do this a lot more efficiently. And as I said earlier, some organizations have thousands or 1,000 plus applications that they need to go back and modify and adjust, because not often do organizations kind of do this from the get-go. So a lot of times you see, organizations kind of coming around years later to, look at what applications actually have access to the organization's data. And, when you see 1,000 apps in here, you start to think, oh, like there's 1,000 companies now that also have access to our corporate data. And, what can they do with that? Or, what's going to happen if they get compromised? and you really need to kind of rethink your approach to allowing these applications to access corporate data. And this is the way to control it. You go in there and you start to, block anything that you don't recognize, block anything that you haven't tested and validated as being legitimate. And then, there's another setting where you start to disable the addition of any apps that aren't trusted. And this is part of that whole process, is getting your current ones in some sort of better state in terms of those three values there of trusted, blocked, or limited. So very welcome update here to help manage those. And rollout pace for this one is going to be starting the 27th of October for both wrap release and schedule release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. Pretty much available to everyone. It says not available to Cloud Identity Pro customers. Cloud Identity Pro, don't know what that is. I've heard of Cloud Identity Premium. Is Cloud Identity Pro a new product that I haven't heard about? I don't know. They might mean premium there. But it says it is available to Cloud Identity Pro customers, available to everyone else, but not available to Workspace Essentials customers. So pretty much coming to everyone other than those on the Workspace Essentials. So that wraps up all the updates. We talked already about the Drive for Desktop update and the Chrome Enterprise for Education updates that we're seeing there. So that means it is over to you, Jesse, in the other topics in the news for tonight.
What's in the news? Wasn't that a Saturday Night Live thing at one point, or some show used to do that? I don't remember. All right. Well, if you're using Workspace Individual, you'll be happy to hear that you're getting a hell of a lot more storage and mail merge, which we talked about before, and it's going to be available in a lot more locations around the world. You are getting, if I remember this correctly, 1 terabyte of storage, which is a whole hell of a lot more than, I think it was 15 gig. Yeah, 15 gig that you would have had before, and it is now up to 1 terabyte. So that is a huge jump. And for those of us over on the business or enterprise version of this, we're getting a little bit used to Google taking away storage availability. Google giveth and Google taketh away. So in this case, Google is giving whatever. And hopefully this will stick around for a good long time, because that's a huge draw for somebody who is running their business there and trying to get set up. 15 gig is what you get in the regular Gmail account. So good on you, Google, for coming up with this. And as I say, it's only natural that as you grow your business, you'll have more docs, data, yada, 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 yada. And this gets into a little bit of the marketing speak of what you can do in Drive. But if you're listening to us, you likely already know what a lot of those things are. Basically, you can store everything. Personalized emails with built-in mail merge. This is part of that same update. You're now going to be getting a mail merge, which includes the multi-send mode, as well as the tags that we were just talking about before, and the ability to kind of send out your own newsletter, which is pretty cool. You can drop in at first name, and it'll grab the first name from your contact. So that's pretty cool as well. And then again, launching Google Workspace Individual in a number of new countries, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, Thailand, Netherlands. I don't know if I want to read the others, not that anymore. Okay. Portugal, Belgium, Finland, Greece, and Argentina. I got to figure out how to get like a listing thing on the side here of all of the updates, all of the things that are available, because we list, the different, these tiers and those tiers. So I got to list them all on the side, and countries that are available here and specs that are available here. And I think that'll go well in my new format here for doing this. These new countries join a growing list of places business owners can sign up for Workspace Individual, including the US, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Japan, Australia, and 6 countries across Europe, which links to another blog post, which is probably why they specifically linked that there and didn't list them out like they did all of the others. They claim that they are also expanding the footprint for Workspace Individual and deepening the functionality, building on premium Meet e-signature in Google Docs, appointment scheduling, and flexible layouts and multi-send in Gmail. So there's a full list of new and coming soon features. So if you're not using that yet, or you know somebody who needs that for their small business, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial. And as always, feel free to send us any questions that you have. We'll be happy to answer them. All right, this next one is a little bit of an interesting one. The Google Meet cameras that many of us have used and love, they now run Android instead of Chrome OS. Curious why they're making that jump over. As Google continues to build out Chrome OS to be more and more capable, it seems that the manufacturers are making the jump over to Android. Now, if you're not familiar with these are the camera bars, and I'll include an image over here. The speaker system, camera, automatic framing, zooming in, AI, sound, noise cancellation, all those fun features. They're relatively expensive, but they for the most part work quite well. Generally made for conference rooms and larger businesses. And Steve is itching to say something. What do you got?
No, I think it's not that they're entirely moving to Android-based device. It's just that it's now some of them are built on Android. Not that they all are being built on Android now. It's these certain ones, yeah. So it's Logitech Rally Bar, Rally Bar Mini are able to work on the Android-based appliances. So that, I think, is what Logitech and Poly announced on theirs. I think other ones maybe are still using Chrome OS. So it's really just about extending support to Android-based devices and allowing me to operate on those in addition to Chrome OS ones, I think, is what this announcement is about.
Interesting.
Yes.
They've traditionally always run on Chrome OS. But
yeah, and I think a lot of them still do.
The Android-based ones are becoming more popular, so they're opening it up to them. Okay, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
I think so. Because this also came at the time of the announcement where there's being able to join Zoom meetings, right?
Yes,
so that's kind of part of this article here as well, which you're probably just about to get to.
Exactly, and I think I have. Do I have another separate? I do. I have another separate article from the Google Cloud blog that is announcing that in their newfound love for interoperability, they have announced that coming later this year that you're going to be able to join Zoom meetings from Google Meet hardware, or maybe that's now, and Zoom the other direction is coming later this year. Do you remember which it is, Steve?
Wait, what were the two options you just said there?
Google Meet Google Meet hardware being able to use with Zoom. Is it now or is it coming later? Because I know that it was both directions. It's bidirectional interoperability here is what they're announcing. I just trying to remember which one is coming now.
Yeah. So the opposite, which is so now Google Meet can join Zoom.
Right.
Later this year, the opposite will be happening where Zoom can join Meet.
Okay, right. Cool.
Yes.
Got it.
Right.
So this is a continuing mission. This has been going on for a while from the voice team and from the Meet team.
No PEXIP needed here. This is no complex, advanced, setup, additional cost. This is just like how you see WebEx as an option, or have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's been there for a while now. Just like that, if you need to join a WebEx.
They do note that they are continuing their support of PEXIP for Google Meet, but this one does not require that. So good things there. It's nice to see all of the big entrenched players are starting to play along and giving us more choice in what we use and how we use it. And, it's one of the things that has in the past held me back from buying some of this hardware is, okay, but, what happens when our big fancy schmancy new high-tech conference room needs to get on a Zoom meeting? We've had companies, we only use Zoom. We can't use Google Meet. We only use Zoom, or we only use Google Meet, which is great for us. But somebody who normally only uses Zoom, they're screwed. So it's good to see all of this coming together. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, and coming first to the Chrome OS-based Meet devices. It also mentions, even though this announcement talks about expanding support to Android devices, that feature is coming to Chrome OS. Yes.
That's funny. Way to confuse everybody.
Yeah. Other side, though, all the Zoom Room devices will support connections into Meet. So a little bit more compatibility other way around on those devices if you have Zoom Rooms.
Interop for the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The next one we have here is from over on the Google Cloud community. They seem to have launched a monthly newsletter, Google Workspace customer newsletter. And the first couple times I saw this, it must have been an automated tweet because it was all linking back to the same post from like June. And I was like, well, are you, what is this? Are you doing a regular thing or not? And so then I looked into it a little bit further, and I found that they have one now from 4 weeks ago. That they're talking about some of the things that they have been highlighting, such as everything that came out at Google Next and the ability to earn the professional Google Workspace Administrator certification, other topics in learning and training and product updates. So if you're looking for a little bit more or just a month-long recap that's not from us, you can go and check this out. We'll have the link over there. You will have to sign up for this community, but that is free, and it's Google's official cloud and workspace community. So cool. And two more here. Let me get this one open. We've got, I think you were talking about this a little bit before, Steve, expanding accessible learning with Google for Education. This is a keyword article highlighting the features of a couple of different things here. Captions as a tool across Google products. They are similarly in the accessibility community that we were talking about for the Bluetooth hearing aids. Oftentimes those that are deaf or hard of hearing will use captions. And they also mentioned that if a room is loud or a student needs additional support focusing, which was certainly me as a kid and still today, you can use captions in order to follow along with what's going on. So highlighting that and live transcriptions, as well as accessibility tools being built into Chromebooks. And the features that Steve was talking about earlier is also highlighted, or are also highlighted in this post, so we don't have to go over those again. So if you're interested in the continuing growth of accessibility technology, which is an awesome field, definitely take a look at this keyword post. A lot of cool gifs in here also, which will look good in the video. I like. And then the last one, which we almost missed because I thought it was 2 weeks ago and it was really only this week, is a Verge article that says Google Chrome will no longer support Windows 7 next year. So if you're still running Windows 7, as I'm sure many of you are, still have some out in the wild, there's your shutdown date. I know that a lot of other systems, such as antivirus products and whatnot, have also gone that route or are going that route very soon. The interesting thing here is that not only is Google killing support for Windows 7, also for Windows 8.1. And as Steve and I were discussing before the show, 8 and 8.1 was basically similar to Vista or the lesser Windows OSs of yore. There's a kind of a community legend, or I guess not legend, but knowledge that it's every other major release on Windows is the major successful one. So I'm sure there's still some XP out there in the XP Windows out there in the wild. So every once in a while you do have to
100 million PCs, it says, running 7
and 8.1 or just 7.
I don't know. I'd have to. It says Windows 7. It says Windows 7 here.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly. It's a really, really solid OS. We've still got a bunch of them out there. Also,
that was from like a year ago. So
okay,
maybe a little bit less now.
So it's only 90 million PCs now.
Right.
Yeah. Chrome will still work after version 110, but it will not get any future updates on Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, according to the support page. So you should be getting rid of those anyway. But Google Chrome will start getting updates.
Windows 8 though.
No, because Windows 8 has such a small use base. Like the majority of people that had Windows 8, even 8.1, made the jump to Windows 10 when it came out, according to at least statistics I've seen, as well as my own personal experience. And for a lot of businesses, part of the reason why it's every other is because a lot of businesses only upgrade every 5 to 10 years, right? Yeah. And so you're only going to get that kind of deep level penetration when the big customers with tens or hundreds of thousands of machines move everyone over. And that obviously has a ripple effect of their own personal computers and what they use and recommend as well. And so, that's kind of why that happens. It could also just be Microsoft uses every other kind of experiment because they know that they have that lag. So, it's possible. But it's very interesting that has, that whole model now is relatively dead. I mean, they claim that they're coming out with new versions, but 11 is really just evolved 10, and it's not a new major version, even though it seemed to be. Even on Mac, the update here that we got with what's the one that's coming out in a few weeks here?
Ventura.
Yes, Ventura. Which I am running now. I finally took the jump and went for the beta. Even that, it's an incremental. I mean, it's a big jump and it's a name change and everything, but it didn't feel like much except for the settings menu. They went and foobarred the settings menu, just like Microsoft getting rid of the control panel. I don't know what the hell they did. They tried to make it look like iOS, but everything is just it doesn't make sense. iOS makes sense. This doesn't make sense. I fully agree with you, Steve. So, but anyway, we digress.
Glad someone does.
I definitely agree with you. It needs work. But if you're on 7 or 8.1, you're definitely going to want to switch over to something else, like a Chromebook, perhaps, by February 7th, 2023. That's the drop dead date. So,
drop dead.
Bye, Windows 7. It's nice knowing you. And that's it. So that's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap. And on our website, workspacerecap.com, hit the subscribe button, leave us a review, give us a thumbs up for this video, drop your comments below. Hope you're enjoying our new format of putting more information and contextual visuals in the videos. And I'm going to keep playing around with shorts because, honestly, they're kind of fun. It's fun trying to cram as much as possible into 60 seconds. So let's see how fast I can speed up Steve without people noticing. Anyway, hope you're continuing enjoying our continuing evolution and testing of content. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.